A WWE SmackDown match was stopped due to an injury scare last night. An AEW star is reportedly messed up after a Dynamite botch, and is a WWE star undergoing a name change? Find out in the wrestling news. During last night's SmackDown, we saw Austin Theory take on Carmelo Hayes. Now, Carmelo Hayes is someone that seems to be floating between NXT and SmackDown right about now. It seems like he's kind of in that little, I guess, the Dragon Lee period.
He's doing the hokey cokey.
He is doing the hokey cokey. Well, he was back on SmackDown last night, and he was put into a match by Nick Aldis against Austin Theory. Now, the match was stopped halfway through, unfortunately, due to an injury scare. There was concern for both men in that match. During a top rope spot, Austin Theory attempted to hit his sort of seated springboard Spanish
fly.
Yeah, Spanish fly. It's a really, really nice move. Yeah. A move that why Austin Theory hasn't really been busting it out on his first initial impact on the main roster, I don't know. Now he's doing it.
Some of it back.
He can wrestle. Yeah. You know, it's a great spot. Him and Carmelo Hayes sitting on the top rope. However, the landing didn't quite go to plan. Austin Theory landed sort of on the back of his neck, whereas Carmelo Hayes landed on his shoulder and neck area. It was quite nasty in the way they landed.
It was like the rotation was just short, because it was like almost, if you just had it on in the background, you maybe wouldn't have noticed anything was amiss. But if you really look at it, it looks like kind of maybe Hayes comes down like on Theory's head as well. Like they bump heads a bit, which certainly lines up with what WWE said about them afterwards. But it was just a scary thing to see. Yeah,
and we've seen, the Spanish flies from the top rope especially is a dangerous spot, in the sense of you've got to trust. There's a lot of trust. You've got one's got a back flip, one's got a front flip, and they've got to land at the same time. And it looked like it was just, I don't even want to say miscommunication. It was mistiming. No, it was just a slight over or under rotation from both of them.
These things happen, right? It's not like everything can be perfect all of the time, and any minor thing can lead to any number of things. So it's one of those where I guess it's just a freak moment, but thankfully they both seem to be all right.
They seem to be all right, but following the spot, the ref threw up the X, checked on both men, and the match was called to a stop. But WWE provided an update on X, formerly Twitter, saying following their match tonight on SmackDown, both Austin Theory and Carmelo Hayes were evaluated for injuries. They both suffered face contusions and will both be okay. So it looks like it's a mild injury from the spot, just face contusions. Thankfully, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, I guess as well, like any landing like that has to be taken immediately, incredibly seriously. Yeah. So even if they're kind of there going, it's not too bad, like feel all right, it's still got to be checked out. So it's just one of those things where it's good to see that it has been checked out. They are okay. And, it's just a reminder that things like this can happen. In wrestling all the time. I mean, look at the situation with Charlotte right now, right?
Right, and that's the thing that initially that I thought of when I saw this spot was we saw
another one out of the corner,
we saw a Spanish fly, or what was attempted to be, I think, a Spanish fly in that spot with Charlotte, and that went incredibly wrong and caused injury. So I'm glad both men are okay here. But staying with some SmackDown news just now, we have two WWE factions names being revealed. Now, starting off, Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. It was reported prior to SmackDown by WrestleVotes that the team would be using the name The Pride.
I like it.
I like it as well,
it's
right?
very, very, like tight-knit.
Just they're proud of who they are, and they're going to beat you up.
And they're like a Pride Alliance.
That's it. Well, Bobby Lashley would sneakily pop into his X, formerly Twitter, bio, and he said, the leader of the Pride. So we've got a little bit of confirmation there from Bobby Lashley. It wasn't officially said on SmackDown
unless
last
it was
night.
Sarcastic. Oh, leader of the Pride.
It could have been that. But I like the name. I hope he keeps it. But it was it was not officially announced on SmackDown when the Pride came to the ring for their segment. However, we did in that same segment with the Pride get another faction name. What happened, Sam?
We did. So the Pride were interrupted by Paul Ellering, who steered their attention to the big screen where Karrion Kross and Scarlett appeared on the screen, and they officially introduced the Authors of Pain as members of a new big faction together, all friendly, chummy. Yes, they are. And then they revealed that they are going to be going by the name The Final Testament.
I like it as well.
I do enjoy that. It's very, 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 very evil, very nasty, very bad. Get Paul Ellering out there with pentagrams times. America hates Satanists right now. Go nuts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This feels like a cool name for them. As we sat here last week going, oh, Paul Ellering, he's just so evil. Look at him. He looks like an evil mastermind. And I think a name like The Final Testament.
Yeah.
That's great. Also, The Testament, Authors of Pain.
Yeah.
It all works in. And I'm excited
they're
to
like
see what
the
they
disciples of Karrion Cross.
do. Exactly.
It's
finally
Karrion Cross is the Antichrist, or is Paul Ellering really the Antichrist? And he's making it look like Karrion Cross is the Antichrist in a way to kind of fool everybody into going after Cross, when really it's Ellering.
I think you're onto something. It's layers within layers. It's like
Wheels
an
within
onion.
wheels, like a biblical angel.
Whoa, well, staying with the pride and all that good stuff. According to reports from PW Insider Elite, WWE has moved Bobby Lashley, Angelo Dawkins, and Montez Ford to the babyface side of the internal roster.
Damn it.
Yeah, they were heels. They were heels for so long.
I wanted to see a sustained heel run for at least for at least the Street Profits. Because I just want to see how just radically different it would be to, your face Street Profits, which everybody loves, everybody knows. It's kind of, I guess it's similar with me in the New Day. It's like, how would it work in a heel dynamic? I just want to see it.
You want to see it?
I want to see a big run.
And it is a shame that we've had a few months of them being heel, and they've
it's
been
just starting to get into gear, and it's like, yeah, okay.
It was getting into motion. I saw them at a live event in October in London, and they were getting massive heel reactions.
Yeah.
They were coming out. It was them against the Brawling Brutes. They were doing the whole corner spot where Butch goes up on one corner.
Yeah.
He's like, yes! And then Montez Ford goes up on the other, and it's big boos. However, the reactions for the live crowd for Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits right now on TV have been overwhelmingly babyface.
Yeah, and there's no point forcing it, right? And that's the thing, is the old regime would have forced it.
Yeah.
And I feel that this is a breath of fresh air. It's 2024, guys.
Yeah.
It's a new year. It's time to just crack on with it. And if the audience are going to cheer them, then just roll with it.
Exactly. Why force it and then make the team be less over?
Triple H coming out the start now. I know you all like Bobby Lashley, but when you see him, I need you to boo.
Well, I'm excited to see how they fare as a babyface team against this new, very heelish Final Testament.
Yeah, but I want to see how gnarly Final Testament are going to go. I want to see leather and studs and demolition, and I want to see all of it. I want to see just bring back
Axe and Smash,
and Animal and Hawk, and just merge it into one big super gimmick, and then just paint it onto all of them.
I can't imagine Karrion Cross and the big spiky shoulder pads, but let's
one
do it.
Bring back the Ascension as well. S&M thing.
yeah,
like half and half.
Oh god, if he brings back the mask.
He kind of, if you just take the mask, he sort of already had the demolition going on. Give him some shoulder spikes.
And you've got a perfect mix-up of everything.
Yeah.
Well, we're moving over to AEW just now because an AEW star is reportedly messed up after a botched move on Dynamite. Now, Brian Alvarez reporting on the Figure 4 weekly online board that man is Darby Allin, and he suffered an injury during his tag match during the spot where Takeshita and Powerhouse Hobbs held him by the wrists, by the ankles, and then flung him. Flung him across the ring, corner to corner.
Him.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, he yeeted him. Yeet. And it was kind of, it's impressive.
Yeah.
But during the spot, Darby Allin's head sort of caught underneath the bottom rope.
Yeah, I guess it was supposed to be more slide, but you can't always adjust. We've seen it happen many times before, obviously famously with Enzo catching his head. And that was really, no matter what you think of the guy, it's just a really horrible spot to go back and look at. Yeah,
so seeing it here, and you saw kind of his head landed underneath the bottom rope and then sprung up and hit the rope. And it was a dangerous spot, but it looked impressive.
Yeah.
However, Alvarez saying on the Figure 4 weekly online board, he said, I was told the neck bump into the ropes really messed Darby up in that match. And it looks, I can see that. You can see that it definitely could cause injury.
Well, I mean, the tension of a ring rope these days, given that ropes are a lot tighter than they used to be, and the fact that everybody thinks ropes are bouncy, they're really not that bouncy unless you hit them at some speed. But then hitting it with some speed with a head or a neck or shoulders, it's just gonna give you that bounce back you want, but not in the way you want. It's going to throw you back as hard as it can. Similar to, I guess, Charlotte's knee and foot coming down.
Not going to be fun. Well, it's currently unknown the extent of his injuries from the spot or if it will have an effect on his appearances on TV, but we'll keep you updated both here and on cultaholic.com with that. But finally, we're going to round out this news just now with some more SmackDown news. And I mentioned him briefly. I said Butch. earlier on.
You see, there was a Freudian slip, though.
I did have a little slip because it's kind of been teased that he could be reverting back to his Pete Dunne name. In a backstage segment on last night's SmackDown, Butch and Tyler Bate were sat having a coffee. They were having I think a flat white was one of the coffees they were having. It was a weird segment.
Black coffee, that's all you need.
That's all you need.
There's milk in it. It's just making it less strong.
Get a bit of oat milk in there.
There's all that space. If you don't put milk in it, there's all space for extra espressos.
And then then you'll just be buzzing.
Yeah.
Buzzing all day.
That's how you learn to be an editor.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. They were sat backstage having their espressos, but in a coffee shop scenario, which was it felt very NXT rather than main roster.
More of it. It's
nice,
like
right?
The 90s, they used to do that stuff. Even if it was just a fake set backstage, I don't care. Just bring it back.
Just bring it back. It looks like they were doing that. Well, Bate wanted to chat to Dunne about their about their success last week as a tag team, and then sort of. Butch confirmed that Brawling Brutes was done, and Bate was like, "Well, we could bring back the British Strong Style and show the world what we're made of." And then he was like, "Well, what kind of name do you want to go under on your new path away from the Brawling Brutes?" And then it lingered on Butch as he was trying, like, who could it be?
Just pulls out a big list of boys' names.
And obviously it was heavily teased and implied that we're getting Pete Dunne.
No, he's going to be Hutch, and then they're going to turn Tyler Bate into Starsky. Tyler Bate into Starsky, and then they're going to give him a 70s cop gimmick, but then they'll get to drive a car out every week.
I would love that.
And they slide over a bonnet. And they inexplicably make them American.
There you go.
Yeah.
Triple H. I don't know why you're not taking these booking ideas, but yeah, it looks like Pete Dunne is coming back at some point under that name.
It's so overdue.
I'm very excited.
I can't wait.
But that is all we have for you just now. We will be back later on today with more wrestling news, because the wrestling news never stops, Sam.
No,
it
never
stops.
Sleeps, never stops. It's always a going. It haunts me in my dreams.
Well, check out the podcast that's on the channel right now, and check out all the other content that we've been put out over December. The Golden Age, Sam has been working very hard on. It's all done. It is out. December may be over, but it doesn't stop. There's so much content coming, and so much content on the channel.
Complete history of ECW. There's everything.
Oh yes, we'll check out that right now, and we'll see you later on.